Welcome, Spartans, to Mission Debrief. We've played every mission of the mainline Halo video games, and now we're playing every mission from the rest of the games in the franchise in chronological order. Each episode will be discussing our experiences and sprinkling in a little lore along the way. If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts read on the show, email us at podcastevolve@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. We'll be playing the Foundry mission from Halo Wars 2 on the next episode. If you like what you hear and want to support the show, visit Podcast Evolved on Patreon. You can also receive a free audiobook trial by visiting audibletrial.com/podcastevolved. This episode, we're debriefing the Under the Dark mission from Halo Wars 2. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krista Brown.
Blur makes my eyes bleed with joy.
Oh, man. It's so good.
It's so good.
Last mission was Hold the Line. Professor Anders uncovered a way to contact help by releasing a halo from the Ark's foundry, deploying a team on the ring's surface, and contacting UNSC forces on Reach once it relocates to Alpha Halo's location. Unfortunately, the plan required time the Spirit of Fire didn't have. Inspired by the idea of getting off the Ark, Isabel came up with a two-part plan that would eliminate the Enduring Conviction and level the playing field. Douglas 042 and Professor Anders were deployed to take down the Banished assault carrier's shields using a Forerunner particle cannon, while the Banished desperately tried to stop them. In Under the Dark, Jerome 092 and Alice 130 arrive at the Enduring Conviction's gravity lift, but are quickly shot down by the heavy defenses. A team of snipers is deployed to rendezvous with Jerome and destroy a Banished base nearby. Meanwhile, Alice commands a group of Kodiaks to bombard the turrets and Reavers that took out their Pelicans. Once the Banished defenses are eliminated, Jerome and Isabel start breaking rules. The date of the game is April 1st, 2559. You guys ready for this one? Oh boy.
Oh, I'm ready.
This is a good one. I am. It's like we got to talk about the mission, but really what I want to do is talk about that cutscene at the end.
My eyes are
really
still bleeding.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I might need to see a doctor.
Tears of blood joy.
Bloody joy.
All right, I will run through the mission briefing real quick. The opening screen just has Jerome and Alice kind of going back and forth, and they're actually talking about their approach to the Enduring Conviction here. And then, Jerome said, "All right, let's head out." And Alice is like, "All right, I got your back. Don't worry, we're almost there. Good luck." And then, we'll talk about the gameplay cut in a second. The mission summary is infiltrate a Banished compound to board the carrier Enduring Conviction. The scouting report is use your snipers to spot targets for the long-range Kodiak artillery. We get snipers, which is quite a bit of fun, I think, in this mission. The objectives: get Jerome and Isabel to the gravity lifts, protect the Kodiaks, also disable the Banished shield. There's lots of objectives in this mission, but it's actually it's not that overwhelming. Deploy Kodiaks in the 3 designated areas, and then destroy the secondary Banished base. Optional objectives: complete the mission without losing a Kodiak, eliminate all 3 brute warlords who are a pain in the ass. Bonus objectives are kill 50 Banished units with a UNSC sniper, use snipers to sweep for 50 plasma mines. That's a lot of mines.
It is a lot of mines.
Yeah. Then kill 30 Banished units with the Kodiak. And that was a fun one because they're just like bombarding as you're playing through the mission. Kill Banished units with an orbital strike. And you only need to kill 1 unit, which is weird. You just essentially need to have it and have it be successful, or use it and have it be successful. Part time is 25 minutes. The scoring goals: 100,000 is gold, silver is 40 to 99, and bronze is 14 to 39. There is 1 skull, and in order to get that, you need to eliminate all of the brute warlords, all 3, and that unlocks things that make you go boom, which is hero units unleash a nuclear explosion upon death.
Hot diggity.
It's just...
I need
crazy.
to see this one. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Oh my God, I
Alice
kinda want to.
dies and she just fucking explodes.
Well, into like a mushroom cloud
That's
or
nice.
something like that. Like, it's gotta
I
be
love the
amazing.
idea. That's
I
their
mean-
suit going no, that's kind
A
of
scarab's coming towards you, but Alice is
Yeah.
on low health. Just fucking send her in. And bye, Alice.
What's the skull called? I'm gonna
Things
use
that go
right
boom.
now. I want to see this.
Things that make you go boom. Yeah, I wonder if it happens for the warlords too. I didn't turn it on. I should have.
Oh shit, maybe it does. Could you be you could be fighting Decimus and then all your units would just get fucking yeeted by the nuclear explosion?
Oh man, I gotta replay this mission. It's gonna be
All
good.
right.
All right, Krista, take us through the battlefield.
Yeah.
What's in the toy box?
Oh my god, we got so many cool things. Except one not cool thing. Hero
Oh.
units, we have Jerome and Alice. They're hanging out today. Douglas
Mhm.
is, just he's playing ping pong or something, I guess.
He's got his hands behind his head. He successfully did his job.
Drinking a beer. I don't know.
Yeah.
We start with the fire base, which is 3 slots during Alice's campaign that you can't upgrade, and then you get a few 1 and 2 slot mini bases. Oh my god, why?
Yeah.
Why did they do this?
They make
to
it
me?
work, but it's painful.
It hurts my insides. We have turrets for our base defense, but not the normal ones, just the squares just randomly on the ground. The base can make units that are already upgraded to combat tech that have the engineers that can heal vehicles and also buildings. They heal buildings as well, which comes in handy.
I didn't notice that.
Anything mechanical, really. And they also have rocket launchers. So the Marines are actually useful, guys. Wow.
Yeah. Marines are good in this game. Way better than Hellbringers.
And of course, you can make supply pads, generators, the normal stuff. They can be upgraded. Of course, we have our barracks that has Hellbringers, snipers, and Cyclopses.
Yeah. Snipers are rad.
Yeah, our garage has Warthogs, Wolverines, and Scorpions. And our armory has Advanced Logistics 1 and 2, Reinforcements 1, and Fortify 1 and 2. So I'm not sure if you guys got this glitch, but the game was totally messed up for me because I couldn't make an air pad. I don't know what was wrong. I tried restarting the game. I crashed my Xbox, uninstalled the game, reinstalled the game. I couldn't make an air pad. I don't know what was wrong, but it was really, really annoying. So I'm not sure if you guys
It must
saw
be
that.
glitched.
Yeah.
Yeah, your game must be glitched. That's weird.
I wish 343 would fix this because I think it's a
You should
really
write in.
game-breaking glitch. I need to make my Hornets. Why can't I make my Hornets? So that was really disappointing. It just kind of put a damper on my whole experience on this mission. But whatever. We have some speed.
So 0 out of 10?
Yeah,
Or
0 out of
just
10.
Maybe 8 out of 10.
Yeah, if the game's glitched, I have to give it a 0. The Spirit of Fire abilities are restoration drones, which can be upgraded 3 to tier 3. What?
Yeah.
Tier 3?
Super healing.
Archer missiles have tier 3 too.
Mhm.
It's pretty sweet. You can get battle hardened, which you should. Lotus mines, throw them in the trash. ODST drop is nice. Turret drop, R&D 1. I forget what that does.
That makes everything build faster
okay.
and research faster.
And then holographic decoy, which you can send decoys that can scout and trick the enemies. And I never even used this or even thought of buying this or deploying it at any point during this mission. I'm not sure if you guys played around with it.
I didn't use it either.
Okay.
I think I unlocked it on one of my playthroughs, but it sounds interesting, especially against those turrets. But I don't know.
Alright, so we have Banished in this. We have a hero unit, and it's 3 warlords, and they suck, and I hate them.
Yeah.
Their abilities are Hammer Pull, Hammer Stun, and Siphon. The warlord gains health with each attack. Jesus! And requires Hammer Stun. Oh my god, these warlords sucked! The ground units are Grunts and Brutes. Jump Pack Brutes, Suicide Grunts, Elites, and Hunters. Our vehicles are Marauders, Wraiths, and Locusts. Our air units are Spirit Drop Ships, Banshees, Engineers, and a Shroud, which is new and doesn't do literally anything.
It shows up at the end.
They're like, oh my god, it's a Shroud! I'm like, oh my god, a Shroud, wow. Okay, it's dead. Next.
I thought it was a blister back to start with,
No,
but it wasn't a
no,
blister back. It's a
It
shroud.
looks weird. It looks almost like a giant engineer or something.
And it's supposed to do active camo on everything.
Yeah.
It can affect
Which,
stuff.
like, doesn't do much for you. And then honestly, it really just, like, works against your Kodiaks, but other than that, it doesn't do anything. It
Right.
shoots down your Kodiak missiles, but they don't, like, try to do it anyway, so I don't know what the point is.
It feels very mission specific. Like this vehicle only
Yeah.
exists for this one mission, where you're even given the thing that undoes it, which is the fact that snipers can decloak units.
Yeah.
Just feels
So
weird.
it's like, it's whatever. Oh my god, we have so many leader powers. We have the glassing beam and the vortex lightning. I hate both of them with such a fiery passion at this point. It's like getting so freaking old for me to be like,
Yeah.
all right, I have 80 out of 80 units. Let's go fight. Oh, now I have 0 out of 80 units. Let me go back. Okay.
The glassing beam is rough.
It's...
They must
The
be.
That's
vortex
so
lightning
annoying.
isn't as bad, but the glassing beam is just like, why? It just kills
Did you get it on
everything.
normal, David? The
No.
glassing beam? You didn't.
There was
Okay.
no leader powers deployed against you, I don't think.
Also, to add insult to injury, Atriox's Bulwark, which is their version of restoration drones. And
Mhm.
holy shit, why?
Plus
Why
engineers.
does this exist? Plus engineers. Oh my god. I accidentally aggroed a warlord and I had it to like 1 health, and then the restoration drones came in and I'm like, I give up. I'm not even doing this.
Oh,
I'm
no.
going on. I'm so mad. And then of course the banished also have a unit buff power that allows them to gain veterancy.
Yeah, oh, almost.
I can't say
Ooh.
that word. It's impossible.
Yeah.
I don't
They
know who
become veterans. We'll just say
they
that
They
from
do.
now on.
veterans, yeah. They get a 1 above their head. And it's annoying as well. I
They
like
level up.
I
That's all I'll
I
say.
liked this mission. It's just some of these things are just
I
like,
love this
oh
mission.
my god, why? Why do you keep hitting me with the glassing beam? And it's like not even like the glassing beam's gonna like give you a game over. It's just gonna make you have to wait 5 minutes before doing the thing you want to do. And I think that's
Mhm.
what's annoying about it. It's
Yep.
just like, all right, let's go back for 5 minutes and just come right back out and do the exact same shit I was about
Yep.
to do, but 5 minutes later.
It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2 steps forward,
Yeah.
1 step back. Yeah. Like
It's
I was
annoying.
when I was on my heroic. We'll talk about it, but on my heroic run through, I was like, it was just like, ugh, I had to retreat a lot. So
Yep.
anyway, let's talk about things. Let's talk about the gameplay cut. So here. Well, before I do that, because this mission is really split into 2. We're just gonna have David take the first part, and he'll talk about Jerome and all that sort of stuff, and then Chris is gonna talk about the Alice part, and I'll just kind of chime in a little bit here and there throughout both of them. So that should get us through the end mission into our beautiful cut scene that's just waiting for us to talk about. But before then, we have the opening gameplay cut. So as I mentioned in the mission briefing, like Jerome and Alice are all like chatting each other up, saying, "Hey, let's go and do some stuff." But when it goes to the gameplay cut, you see their Pelicans get shot down because there's a bunch of Reavers and some turrets there right underneath the Enduring Conviction. Which I like this opening gameplay cut. I really like this, how the snipers then come out. And I love, is his name Sergeant Alieri? Like, that guy's amazing. Like, his little voice cut. And they're all, like, badass. So then these 4 snipers come out and just start, and they actually have little garrison spots that you can tuck them into. And they just start sniping and inching their way towards Jerome. So, David, why don't you take us through on this side?
I will. So it kind of starts off with the, traditional Halo intro where Pelicans, surprise, get shot down
Mm-hmm.
like immediately. So they're like, there's 2 Pelicans, obviously, one with Jerome on it, with Isabel, and one with obviously a team of snipers, or probably a support team, let's say. So you take control of.
Well,
the
isn't
support
Alice
team.
on one of those?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yes.
she's around here
Yes.
somewhere. She's nearby.
Alice is, yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're right.
So I'm guessing like
yeah.
Alice was on one and Jerome was on the other, and they both get shot.
Well, that doesn't make sense because you're on one. You come out of the first Pelican, and the
The
second
snipers,
Pelican.
you mean?
Yeah, and the second Pelican is Jerome's. So
I think
don't
the
know where
snipers were
Alice
sent
came.
in afterwards.
Were they? Didn't they start at a Pelican?
I don't
I
know.
assumed they.
They're-
I assumed
yeah.
that.
It's all confusing.
Anyway, doesn't matter. Who cares? Pelicans crash. It's Halo. We get over. We pretty much start with these kind of 4 snipers, and they're a new unit that were just introduced, like you guys said, and immediately I fell in love with these guys. I thought this mission was so cool. They're just perfect. I guess they're a single unit. They have like a little drone that goes over the shoulder, like it looks like a little mini sentinel. I think Anders has it in the first game.
Yep.
In Halo War, so it's kind of like that.
Well, she's got some in this game too. Yeah, she has one
Does
or
she?
two
Yeah.
drones with her. Yeah.
You can see her. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if it was this game or the first game. So you pretty much have to move this unit through this area. You're trying to get to Jerome's Pelican to kind of rescue him, and there's a bit of banter between the Marines, the snipers, which I think is pretty cool. They have a unique ability where they can decloak, and they're called an anti-infantry unit, and oh boy are they anti-infantry.
Yeah.
They're so dope. Their
You're
range is I'd say the longest range of any other than like siege weapons.
Bar none. Like, they
Yeah.
have a huge range, and they're badass, and I love them.
They're so good. So you just have these 4 guys, and there's a bit of a map. Like, I won't lie to you, I took way too long to play this mission because I was enjoying it.
Yeah.
Just moving snipers around the map, just looking for shit. I thought it was great. I just neglected like to build anything else for like a long time. When we get to kind of Krista's side, pretty much all I did was take this unit slowly around the map. You have this kind of, you don't really have a big area to explore. So this is kind of narrow, kind of walkways. It's kind of weird architecture. There's these weird crystals everywhere. It's kind of cool. The map itself is kind of cool.
The floor is bubbling too. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yeah.
The ground.
It's like, there's like bubbling pools of like dirt, I guess, or whatever. But it's kind of cool. Aesthetically, it looks really nice. Your units can also, the enemy uses pretty much lotus mines against you, which are like cloaked mines that only your snipers can see. So the both objectives obviously is to shoot 50. This is the only objective I didn't get. I think it's because I wasn't paying attention and I walked into 1 or 2 of them.
Yep. Yeah. That
so
usually
that
happens. And you have to send your snipers out in front.
Yeah.
Because when you see you team up with Jerome, he'll start taking them out too. And they'll count against you. Or they won't count for you if he takes them out. So yeah.
I didn't think of that. That's probably exactly what happened to me. So these guys are cool. They just pretty much I just slowly moved my way up the map, pretty much just taking out enemies, mowing down hunters. It's so satisfying, shooting suicide grunts. I garrisoned them a few times just because I'm like, oh shit, are we going to get a wave? Because sometimes you get a wave of enemies can come at you. I slowly took over some of the power points and like just looked for resources, and pretty much as I moved myself towards Jerome, there's a cool little cutscene with Jerome kicking the shit out of a chieftain.
Yeah.
Doing that crazy spin aerial move. And it's kind of cool where like the guys are kind of bummed. They're like, oh man, I thought we were going to save a Spartan today. And you know, Jerome just kind of takes on the chin like, come on buddies, we're the best of pals, let's go kick some shit. So then you pretty much just have Jerome for a while, and again you're just kind of moving around. I think your objective is to get to the gravity thing. What am I trying to say here? Well, there you go.
Yeah. You just
the
kind
elevator
of stops after the end of his run is taking out that.
You get a little mini base, which is fun. You take out you get a little outpost. So I started immediately. You can build fully upgraded Marines, which is cool. So they got rocket launchers, grenades, and everything, which is kind of dope. Or you can build Jackrabbit, which is a ridiculous vehicle. Do not ever build a Jackrabbit.
I didn't mention there that wasn't included in, and that's my fault. In the
it shouldn't
armory.
be. No, Colin, it's not your fault. It's deliberately on purpose. Never talk about this thing.
Why didn't they include a mongoose or a gun goose? It's so weird that they just came up with this random thing.
I don't know why, other than maybe, to make another Mega Block set. Who knows?
That's true. I mean, they did make them, so.
Yeah. I think it's an unnecessary vehicle, and I think it's in Halo Envoy. It has a cool segment in Halo Envoy that's like a book, but like other than that, I don't think we ever need a Jackrabbit ever again in the game anyway. Because it's essentially a gun goose. I think does a Jackrabbit have a gun? I think it does.
Doesn't. Yeah.
It does. Okay, cool. Anyway, so I did build a few Marines, and I kept them with Jerome because these Kodiaks are kind of allies that have to defend. You have another little objective. And then I just pumped out snipers. I had about 10 snipers.
Yeah.
And each one takes up 4. So, like, they're pretty hefty dudes.
They take a while to build.
They do. They're kind of slow. So I kind of built up. Like again, I'm playing on normal. I'm playing for funsies here. So I built up a bunch of Marines to kind of defend and use their rocket launchers to kind of take down the drop ships. So the spirit dropships can come over and drop hunters and stuff, and some brutes and units of brutes to attack your Kodiaks. So I just kept a nice little group of them there with Jerome, and then I just moved around the rest of the map at my 10 snipers essentially till I got to the base. Just taking out mines and
did
stuff.
You build
just
any
having
Marines,
funsies.
did you say?
I built a few just to keep with Jerome.
Yeah.
About 4 or 5 units. I can't remember. Not a lot. Like I maxed myself out then on snipers.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got to the base, then it's pretty easy because you don't have to take them out, as opposed to just once something is visible to you, the Kodiaks can see it and spot it and attack it, which is a cool mechanic. The range seems pretty good in this map.
It does have a limit,
much in the next
but
one. It does have a limit.
Where they're positioned in that spot on purpose so that they can't
on purpose,
bombard
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I like that. I like the idea of using snipers, one unit to spot that buffs another unit or gives it an ability. That's pretty cool. And then once you take out this main base, which is not that difficult at all, you pretty much just get the mission kind of ends when you move Jerome to like another place, let's say, and then it just kind of you get an in-game cutscene, which I will leave in your capable hands. But I really enjoyed this first segment and the second segment too. I will say, I know Chris is going to take over now. I didn't do a whole lot different. I built more Kodiaks, a shit ton of snipers, and just moved myself around with some Marines with Alice. Do you know what I mean? I did the exact same thing. I just slowly moved around the map with snipers.
Sure.
And if anything was too big, I just left the Kodiaks, take them out. So I had great fun. I had great fun just doing that.
Yeah, Krista. Any highlights that you want to mention on this side? There is a warlord over here. Did you miss him or not?
No, I didn't mess with him. Not on heroic.
And normal, I kind of forgot snipers. Was like I had 5 snipers, just aimed and killed him. He was gone. Do you know what I mean? No biggie.
The difference between the difficulty of the warlord on normal and heroic is huge. Like it's not ×2, it's like ×5. Like how much more difficult he is. Maybe even 10. I don't know. It's pretty nuts. Like I feel like his health bar is huge. He uses a bunch of abilities. It's a big difference between the two. So yeah, but either way, like having a ton of snipers would work. It would just he's just very difficult on heroic.
He's a meaty guy, and he can heal himself, and it's annoying.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the other key on this opening spot, and again, like, I guess once we go to Alice, our units reset, which is nice. So you're not penalized for having full 80 units on one side of the map and then going over to her side. You can't build anything.
That's crucial. Crucial.
Yeah.
So that's good. And I just made sure when I was doing it, I just went around and grabbed as many resources and whatnot as possible. You're not really in any rush. Even on heroic, it's not too bad on this side. On the Alice's side, it gets a little bit more hectic. But on this side, you really just take your time, enjoy those snipers, and slowly plod through it. Krista, how about Alice's side?
All right, Alice's side is chaotic and sad. The goal of this is to put 3 Kodiaks in specific positions so that they can destroy the turrets, and so you can get up into the ship. Very fun stuff. And Alice is like, you know what, there's a bunch of, checkpoints and a bunch of enemies and a bunch of stuff. So we're just gonna have a base with 3 plots on it.
Right.
And, like, it's just such a bummer. And of course there are 3 major checkpoints where you have to destroy these shield generators with Kodiaks in order to get through. And 2 of them have turrets and a base and all this shit. So you have to do that, and that's not fun either. But the thing that I did in this mission is I made kind of a mixture. I made some warthogs, some snipers, some marines.
Warthogs?
Yeah, I know. I had to
Interesting.
resort to peasant shit because there's no air units.
You can build jackrabbits though, right?
Yeah, I'll just build jackrabbits and have my army of jackrabbits.
It's not even funny, Colin.
Can you imagine trying to beat this mission with just jackrabbits?
I also made Cyclops.
Doable on normal.
Those are the guys I made.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did make some Cyclopses actually. Yeah.
They're all right.
Yeah, they're okay. And I just kind of kept refreshing my supply of them as they got decimated every 2 seconds by lasers from the sky. I think it was so I thought I was being clever because if you notice right when you go out of the first shield from your base, there are like 2 ways you can go. It's like a circle. And one of the ways is blocked by buildings, and I'm like, I'm gonna be super smart and break the buildings, and hopefully there's nothing there. And then on the other side there was a warlord, and it took me like 30 minutes to get him to de-aggro on me.
Boo.
Yeah, he gets pissed.
Yeah, this is the one I
And
had
then they
almost dead, and then he healed, and then I just gave up. And I'm like, just leave me alone.
Really?
Yeah. Oh god, it was such a mess.
That's a good point, though. I wonder if you don't take out that series of buildings, if they won't come at you, if they'll like
I don't
stay on the other side.
You probably have to go all the way around to get them to aggro on you. I was just dumb and destroyed those buildings, not knowing what danger I was getting myself into.
Did it take you a while to figure out that you had to plant your
Kodiak?
your Kodiak to get to the shield generator?
No.
It took me a little bit. I kept shooting at it, and it
tells
all my
you in the
bullets kept bouncing
tutorial.
off.
It's like plant your Kodiak by using Y and then take it out.
Well, my game must be glitched. So it didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
Whatever. So that's fun. So my kind of strategy with this is to keep the Kodiaks kind of at the main base, and then once I have something cleared out, I move them to the pad, or once I hit another shield, I move them up, and that's when I move them up. Which worked sometimes, but then at one point, at the final shield, I had the second Kodiak put in place, and on the final shield, there's a base on the other side of it. And of course, like, a bunch of shit came out, and then I retreated with my units, and retreated past the second Kodiak, and then they just yeeted the Kodiak.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I also...
Did you use the Kodiaks against the turrets? Because I found them pretty decent
they're
for that.
okay.
Yeah, they were great, actually. That's exactly what I did.
Yeah, I used the Kodiaks were good, but at one point I had Alice get a Locust, and they work wonders against the turrets because they're considered buildings.
Well, that's a good idea,
So
actually.
I had Alice take out pretty much all the turrets. It was funny, at one point I had Alice try to capture like a chopper or something, and as the chopper was getting captured, it went to the other side of the shield. And I was like, oh, this will be interesting, what will happen? And Alice just glitched back to the other side of the shield, not in the vehicle.
Bummer.
I lost the vehicle.
You know, one thing I thought about too late, I didn't try it. Well, I did try to put a turret on the other side of the shield.
Oh, yeah.
And that didn't work. It didn't let me. But I wonder if you could do ODSTs on the other side.
You might.
Ooh,
Probably
I didn't
not.
think
If
of
you
that.
can't do a turret, you probably can't do ODSTs.
Yeah.
Which is annoying because you should be able to do that because it's realistic, but whatever.
Right. That'd be realistic.
But no, it's pretty straightforward and it's not particularly hard. It's just when your units get decimated, you kind of have to take the time, go back, and regroup. Something I felt that was helpful is after the second point, you get another base with 2 slots, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So for those 2 slots, I dropped in armor. No, I dropped a vehicle depot, and then I dropped an armory. No, a barracks. Sorry, I dropped a barracks, and then on my original base, I just deleted all 3 things that were on there and just put down heavy supply pads, so I could.
Oh, that's a good.
I
idea.
could regroup pretty easily, and I didn't have to go all the way back there either because I didn't want to.
You could also take out, destroy your buildings and build a generator if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, you get those power nodes that help out, but it's not a ton of power.
Yeah, I
feel like I was always on the low end.
So was I, which was one of the reasons I was using like warthogs and I was using marines because they only take supplies.
Yeah, right.
So I was more
That's clever.
more focused on them than anything else because I figured, speediness was probably better to get my units out as fast as possible when all my units die from a laser.
Yeah.
There is
Right.
also a third base that you can capture, but I didn't find it until later because it's kind of in a weird spot.
Yeah, it's kind of up on as you're approaching that third Kodiak spot. It's up on the right, so you can grab that. For that one, I built a vehicle or a garage because then you can pump out. If your Kodiaks get destroyed, it's nice having them there versus having to bring them all the way up from the other locations.
Yeah, because they're slow as hell.
Plus Wolverines, because there's some air units in that final
Yeah,
spot, too.
I made some too. So the final spot is where you find the shroud, and it doesn't do anything. There are some
You can hijack it,
yeah, and then it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it blew up right
The
away.
worst are the like pair of engineers that kind of spawn every once in a while that are super annoying.
Yeah.
Because you have to take out one of them, but
Boo.
if you have a Wolverine, they die really quickly. So once you get all 3 Kodiaks to their spots, that's pretty much the end. It just ends. And then nothing happens. It just goes into the next mission. Really weird. Yep.
Next mission.
So
Right,
that's
yeah.
mission debrief. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Wait a minute. Wait
You
a
can't.
minute.
You can't skip it.
Slow your roll, guys.
Let me
How
just
dare you.
think. Let me just think here. Did
anything else happen?
I'm trying to think of any
Oh, we
other
did. We forgot to
things
do the
that I did.
trivia. David, do you have any trivia?
Okay, I do actually.
So the warlord. There's 2 warlords on this side, and they're just a pain in the dick. So I don't know. Did you use any of your special abilities, Krista?
Yeah, every once in a
Did you
while I did
do-
archer missiles or something like that, and of course restoration drones.
Yeah. The hollow thing, I didn't even try. I feel like I didn't want to waste an upgrade point on it.
And it would be a waste, I think,
Yeah.
given the other options you have.
Yeah, especially on the higher difficulty. It's like, nah, I don't think it. Well, so something that I noticed on heroic is that because there's just there's so many more waves of enemies that come through, and they'll actually run past you, similar to what they did in the last mission. So they'll come through the shield barrier, and they'll cause you some pain, but then they'll also just run past you because they want to go get their resources back. So they kept running to one of the power nodes and trying to retake that, and I think their next stop probably would have been my base, but I had to bring all of my units back, what was left after they got wiped out by the laser beam. But yeah, this mission is really just a 2 steps forward, 1 step back on heroic. It's like just kind of inch your way, especially toward as you get past the after you put down your first Kodiak. For the second 2, it's more of a slog on that end. So yeah, any differences that you want to call out, David?
Not huge. I kind of forgot about a few different things. Like, yeah, obviously I use Cyclopses. I use a lot of Kodiaxes, and I kind of enjoyed using the snipers as spotters when they get their cloak ability, which I don't think they have at the start.
Mm-hmm.
I think you only get them when you move to Alice, or maybe it's something I upgraded. I can't remember. I think I did build some.
You can upgrade them right away on the first half of the mission, and then I
Can
think
you?
you get
I must
another
have done that.
upgrade on the other half.
Yeah, I must have done. So giving them the cloak ability was kind of cool because
Mhm.
sometimes I moved them too far forward, or a dropship came in and I was like, oh, I gotta get these guys out. So it was great to kind of stealth and have them run away and bring in Alice or something like that to kind of kill whatever she had. All I did different was I dropped a few ODSTs because I love them and they love me. And
They're good.
They're good. I didn't drop the turret, and I wanted to. I upgraded it, and I was like, I'm gonna drop this now and get some good use out of it. Totally forgot about it. That's pretty much it. I think I dropped a few archer missiles, but no, I didn't.
So you
didn't do
can't
anything.
you can't get all of the mines on the first half of the mission. You do need to finish them up on the second half of the mission. But those are easily destroyed by, like, I think there's mines. I think it's at the very end of the mission, right in front of the final shield barrier. There's a bunch that are dropped there. The problem is that usually there's a big battle in front of that barrier. So I was able to get that objective, but I had to endure one wave and then just send out my snipers to go take them out. There's actually a bunch there, so you can clean up the rest of that objective. But it's just for an achievement at the end of the day. You should still be able to get gold either way. All right, let's do it. This cutscene. Is
There's
this the best cutscene in Halo?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Colin, I was just thinking that when I was watching it, one of the many times I watched it today, and I was trying to rack my brain. I was like, man, I'm enjoying this way more than I thought I would. And I was like, had to watch it again. I was like, man, I think this is my favorite cutscene. It's pretty damn close. I mean, but
and it's 6
makes
minutes. It's 6 minutes long.
What makes it not, let's say, is because I don't like how it cuts off Jerome in his moment of shining.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That's what I didn't like. It sets him up so well, and I think maybe, I don't know, they didn't want him overshadowing a certain Spartan, but I'm like, Damn, fuck that Spartan. You
Mhm.
go, Jerome. You're my boy.
Yep. This is one of the reasons I remember playing this, and then ever since this, I'm like, Jerome's the man. He's one of my favorites
Jerome-
because of this
Jerome
cutscene.
is the man.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. So the cutscene kind of starts kind of as soon as the mission ends, because obviously Jerome and Isabel, their mission was to get to this beam, and teleport themselves up, gravity beam, gravity elevator, lift, whatever you want to call it, up into the enduring conviction. Sounds kind of like True the Reconciliation from Halo C. Just saying, same kind of mission stand. You know what I mean? This is what you do. You fight your way to the gravity well and beam yourself up. You take the AI into the ship and you wreck shop. That's pretty much what they do. The cutscene kind of starts with some really, really beautiful looking red elites, and there's a beam of light, and then Jerome was just there shooting a pistol into these guys' faces. He's running around, he catches a sword, he kind of punches an elite against a wall, like he goes flying.
Yeah.
Like with such force, it's beautiful.
I like how they play with the lighting too.
Yeah.
How it goes out, the light goes out, like he's like stealth, right?
See, I didn't think that's what it was at all. I thought it was them cutting it to make it more dramatic, and that's what I hated. I like, don't cut. Let me see what he's doing.
Oh, I see.
Because I'm watching it again, and I don't think it's not.
Yeah,
like,
you're good, right? Because it's all lit up. There
it's all lit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and at the end, he kind of jumps around with a knife and kind of stabs it in like proper assassination style, and it's beautiful. And then you get Isabel just going, "Whoa." And he's like, "Is everything okay?" And she's like, "I've never had front row seats with Spartan before."
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Yeah, damn right, baby. You got the best seats in the house." Jerome style. And then he just, casually walks over, Master Chief style, takes out the chip, plugs it in to the console. And then you get this, again, they did a super job of making the AI world look amazing. Like, it has Isabel in the alien computer. It looks alien as fuck. It's awesome. It's all red and banished. Oh, it's so cool. And I'd forgotten what it was she was doing here, so I had no idea what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
And it's just
right?
It's just her moving her arms, moving things around. I'm like, this looks cool, but what the fuck is she doing? So and it doesn't become obvious to me until it kind of moves outside of the ship, and it shows her activating the glassing beam.
Yes.
And I was like, oh shit. And then it kind of clicked on me what she's doing. She says, okay, all of our ground forces have moved out of the way. The way is clear. Make me a promise. Don't leave without me. And Jerome says nothing, which I thought was weird. I thought he should respond there. But,
He's like, I've already gone. I'm out.
I'm like, who are you? I'm out. So, but it's I think the actress and the motion capture here again stands out as being amazing. I think Isabel looks so good in this. Like, it looks like she's struggling. Like, it's awesome. It's got such an emotional weight. There's an amazing track playing over this. The music is so good. I must look it up afterwards because I want to listen to this again. Like, just, it's such a swell of awesomeness, and she's doing all swirly hand movements, and circles are popping out everywhere. Man, it's
like
so good.
Hearing people call out for her and stuff. Obviously, kind of PTSD from everyone dying in the Henry Lamb Research Facility.
Yep. Totally. So she's getting all that. She's moving things around,
super
and then
too.
She starts this beam. Oh, it's so good. It's just how she does it. Like the beam glasses the base underneath it, murdering the shit out of any banished that are there, and then starts burning through into the arc. And then it kind of dawned on me, the rule that she was breaking is obviously one of the rules is that you don't engage the Forerunners. Do you know what I mean? You just leave their shit alone. Obviously, both the humans and Atriox have been kind of surviving on this by not interfering too much with the core systems.
The arc.
Yeah. Exactly. Don't fuck with the arc, really.
Which is like a genius idea that she triggers this beam to glass part of the arc, and then the arc then has to rise up and defend itself. Which is such a good plan. Like, that's clever as fuck. I really enjoyed that. And it just kind of shows the arc coming back, all these sentinels moving up into space and kind of coming up around the ship. It's so good. There's millions of them, and it's at the same time it kind of cuts to Jerome, and Jerome is like standing in the bay where they've kind of accessed, and it shows you hear the hammering on a door and some noises, and it shows him kind of turning, pulling his shotgun off his shoulder and kind of to face this door, and you're like, oh shit, they're they're coming. Obviously, they know what's going on. They're going to try and come in and try and stop Isabel. And the scene cuts back to outside the ship once more, and you have kind of like the Sentinels are like crashing against the ship. It seems kind of haphazard at first, and also seems weird because to me, Sentinels have got beams. Why aren't they beaming the shit out of this thing? I don't know.
Yeah, there's a sense of urgency to them, right?
Yeah,
there's an element. They're just like little suicide Sentinels now.
Yeah, they're just bombing the crap out of it, and it seems kind of erratic. It's not until it kind of zooms out that you see that they're attacking a specific point of the ship, and then the screen cuts to a slow-mo. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 brutes coming through the doors. Two of them pull either side of it. It looks dope. There's 2 guys rushing in with hammers, and it's in slow-mo, and you just see the biggest dick Spartan just standing there. No bother to him, just holding his shotgun, proper fucking Spartan 2 style. Oh, it's awesome. And it just cuts, and I'm like, fuck you, go back. Do you know what I mean? I want to see what he does.
True.
That's just so cool. It cuts back then to the Sentinels are cutting this ship in half at a certain point, just like crashing themselves into it in waves.
My favorite is the sideways shot where you can see them like making progress through the ship, like cutting it. Holy shit!
Just cut it, but at the same time, I'm like, guys, use your beams. What are you doing? Just beam.
I think these are builder ones, though. I'm not sure they have. Like, think of the Sentinel beam. Yeah. It's not going to do much.
That could be. You're right.
They would have to break through the shield. They would have to break through the shields,
ship, right?
And then they would have to attack the hull. This way, they can get straight to the hull. Because you can just fly through the shields.
True. I'm also maybe chalking you up to the fact that there's no monitor on this installation anymore. Do you know what I mean? Maybe they don't have that kind of direction. They're just operating on brute force or whatever. But anyway, the scene cuts back. And I forgot to say, like, obviously the power gets cut in the room that Jerome is in. And his 2 headlamps just pop on either side of his face. And then the scene just cuts back to him in the middle of a bunch of brutes. And he's just spinning around, shooting them, stabbing them. It's so good. I'm just going to go back and watch it. I'm gonna go back.
You're just milking this thing. Beautiful. It's so good.
Oh, man. It's just one of my... Man, I kind of... Like, I knew there was a great cutscene, and I knew it was about this ship getting cut in half, but I just totally forgot about Jerome. Like, I was just totally caught up in the spectacle of, a CCS class cruiser getting blown the fuck up by Sentinels cut in half. So it cuts him. He throws something. I don't know if it's a blade or a knife or something. He throws something at one brute, kind of turns around in slow-mo, ducks under a hammer, and then he punches... He grabs that guy's face, pulls it down, pistol whips a third one with the shotgun, and then one hands the shotgun into another brute, killing him, turning and hitting the first goddamn brute again with his shotgun. It's just so good.
Yeah.
So good. And it cuts back to then just Isabel with all the raw emotion. She's just like feeling this as she's burning it down. Then it does a weird thing where like the Sentinels just stop for a second and look, and I thought this was like, oh, they know what's happening, they know who's doing it. I thought they were going to turn and come for her, but they don't. So I don't really understand.
I think
what the pause is
she
for.
stops glassing.
I thought they stopped the glassing.
I think she literally like lets go of the controls though at one point, and then you see the beam stop, and then they stop.
Maybe she does. Well, I'm watching it now, and they stop. Then it cuts to her, and she's still like.
I think it's just dramatic. I think they know. They know they've already done what they needed to do.
Okay, immediately after they just move away and the ship breaks apart. So they've just stopped. They've done their thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then it just it cuts away and just shows like the big bulbous part of the ship crash down, and it's kind of weird. And I think this probably is strange, but Jerome is there at the edge of space. That just makes no sense. Obviously, there should have been a hull breach. There should have been shit sucked out. Like later on, it cuts to Isabel comes out and says, "You've been busy," and all the bodies are just around him. I'm like, if that was true, they would have been gone in space. I think that this is just for dramatic effect because it doesn't really make sense why he would be right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it could be just his magnetic.
Even if he had magnetic boots, the bodies would be floating around.
That's
but
true.
it's whatever. This is just it's
That is true.
dramatic, like you said.
And then he does a cool thing. Isabel kind of comes back to her and she's like, "Oh crap, the lift is deactivated. What are we gonna do?" He's like, "Don't worry, you hop in. You just climb aboard or whatever." And he pulls her thing and sticks it in. And then she's like, "Wait, what?" And then she starts screaming as he jumps off the edge of the ship, which I thought was so dope. And then you see her scream turn into a laugh.
Yeah.
Kind of like that turn. I love that.
That's the
That she's,
equivalent of
enjoying
like
herself.
telling some chick to get on the back of your motorcycle. Like, let's go.
Terrified scream and then
Let's
laughter.
go, baby.
Yeah.
Right.
The Jerome and Isabel love story
Jerome
begins
is
now,
a
guys.
motorcycle.
And then the scene just kind of ends then with Jerome kind of Halo 4 style diving through debris, like the start of Halo 4. It's pretty dope. I thought it's such an excellent cutscene. It's a culmination of a very clever plan, well executed. The previous two missions were wonderful. I really enjoyed them. I liked the build up to it. I like the Spartans being predominant forces. I thought it was great.
So,
and this again,
did you
another
forget about?
incredible blur.
Did you forget about our boy, my boy, Atriox? He's all pissed.
Yeah, that entire
Oh shit!
part.
I just stopped
Oh
the
my
video
God.
before that. Sorry. So the cutscene continues because it's incredible. You see Atriox and
shipmaster.
Lore kind of like walk up. The shipmaster. You see
It's like
debris
the whole
burning down.
ship,
You see the
yeah.
ship. Two halves of it crashed.
Yeah, it's the
It's
whole
the whole
ship.
Didn't
thing,
blow up,
right?
it
The whole
crashed.
thing
The
must
whole
have fallen.
thing. Yeah, it's in two parts. Yeah, the whole ship crashed. It's in two parts. It's pretty intact, to be fair. So obviously it just slowly came down and crashed onto the Ark. Atrox is pissed and he says one Spartan and her AI, and the shipmaster goes, "That's correct. We don't know." And then Atrox cuts him off. "How many of your troops have you got left?" He says, "Enough to complete our bargain." And then he sees a ring rising up over it, which is an excellent visual. So then he's like, "You get everyone you have onto that ring right now and take it from the humans and earn your pay."
Yeah.
And Atriox is pissed.
Not a happy
It's
boy.
amazing how much they just throw around halos now, because like the halo looks
Yeah.
so small compared to the Ark. It's fantastic.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
you remember like Halo 1, it's like, man, that thing's freaking huge. And it's
Yeah.
like just a plaything now.
Right. That's a good point.
Halo has escalated to such a point.
That's a good
wonderful.
point. Yeah, and so this is a random tangent, but I was replaying Halo CE recently, and the depiction of
As you should.
Halo CE when you get to the control room, like it's huge, right? And like it's very narrow, and it makes it feel like it's so much bigger. But then when you look at this Halo, it doesn't. Just to Chris's point, it doesn't make it feel as big as what we think of as Halos. But anyway, that's
because you're on a bigger playing field. Because Halo CE, the ring was the playing field. On this, the Ark's the playing field, and the Halo is just like a secondary place you can go to.
Well, it's just the way it's depicted. The scale looks different. Like the Halos should be the same size, but the Halo and CE in the control room, it's narrower. So the distance across isn't as wide as what this one is. So anyway,
that might just be a generational issue, though.
Yeah, it's no big deal. It's a Halo. All right, let's talk about any trivia.
Feck all, but I'll give you what's there. It would seem that there was an oversight while making the script in Hold the Line. And at this level, in Hold the Line, Jerome says, "Roger that, Douglas. Now get your troops clear. You don't want to be down there when Isabel gets started." While in this level, he actually says, "Roger that, Douglas. Now get your troops clear. You don't want to be down there when Isabel and I are finished." Tiny little oversight. No one really cares.
Sure.
This is the only level where the player will receive no hero unit as a starting unit. There you go.
Oh, okay. Neat. All right, Phoenix logs. There are two of them. One is near the first Brute Warlord on the first half of the map. And then the second one spawns nearby when you kill the third Brute Warlord, just beyond that last red gate there. Krista, what do those have to say?
All right, cool things. The first one is called A Small Sacrifice. Tyrannus, Jirahane Guard, transcription of audio report, enduring conviction, date 12/7/2558, so it's a while. Captain, how much longer must we put up with these Sangheili mercenaries? They are hardy as their kind ever was during the Covenant. despite how they've debased themselves for Atriox. True, their ship is impressive. When I think of the punishment we dealt to the humans' pitiful outpost, great peals of laughter burst from my lips. How they ran like insects, hopelessly lost and panicked, as we had poured boiling water into their dirty little nest. Yes, we burned that place. Of course, many Ungoi under our command were obliterated as well, but you cannot have a feast without breaking bones. Our soldiers knew the risks and were willing to die for our goal and the Ungoi. Well, they were merely fodder, willing to hurt themselves to their deaths as long as there is someone to command them to do so. Now, not so with these pompous Sangheili. They declined our invitation to celebrate the destruction of the human outposts. It is untrustworthy to have mercenaries be so squeamish. War is not about honor, and about who climbs out of a pit alive at the end. The end of the Covenant has freed our race, but it seems to have imprisoned theirs. That is all. My shift's over. I must go and find some Ungoi to beat for sport. Now,
that's really interesting and a really good insight into the inner workings of the Banished.
Mm-hmm.
I think
That's cool.
I think the feast he was talking about was them eating the dead bodies of the humans.
Probably.
Which is why the Sangheili didn't want to be there.
Sure.
Well, they probably wouldn't want to be around brutes eating anyway,
Yeah.
generally speaking.
No, disgusting. Smelly breath. Alright. The next one is Rise of Atriox V. So we got more D and S. It's mostly D. Alright. Oni, Section 0, board surveillance transcription of internal communications between D and S. 5/6/25/55. 17:02 hours. Full transcript available on request. Play it back to me. Let me hear what we got. And here's what he's listening to. This is a quote. This is all quoted text. You wish to know about Atriox and his Banished, the Covenant's dirty little secret. The Jerohane they could not control. When I joined the Covenant, I was young and easily led. Even back then, he had already passed into legends and whispers. A monstrous savage who rallied against those who would show us the way to the great journey. What a fool I was. I was there when they tried to execute him. Oh, that's interesting. Many have said the same, but I speak the truth. His crime was to question the great journey, to question the prophets as they sent wave after wave of his kind to die. With each battle he became harder, his dissent louder, until the Covenant had to silence him. He was executed for heresy, for bringing shame upon the Covenant and doubt to weak-willed minds. I was working some menial task nearby when they brought him in, bloodied and fresh from the fight. He showed no fear. It was as if there was too much rage inside him for him to show any other emotion. As the executor brought down his blade, Atriox rose, killing his would-be killer. The other brutes fell upon the rest of the guards. Such savagery. Years later, I heard Atriox had engaged the services of the Enduring Conviction. I wonder, would the war have ended sooner had he led the Covenant? Or would it still be raging? I say this, do not underestimate him. I know you humans. There is honor in you, but there is equally deceit, and I know how you nurture your plots. If you try and harness his power, he will burn you. Atriox works for no one. He may not be the Covenant, but he is not your tool. End quote.
Well, that's so cool.
Yeah. And then S says, that was all we could get out of the Sangheili, sir. He wouldn't say any more without us answering some uncomfortable questions, so we let him go. So this is post-Halo 3, obviously, when we're allied with the Sangheili, and he's talking about just giving them kind of the lowdown on Atriox. I wonder how he survived Atriox's initial betrayal, because Atriox pretty much killed everyone.
Yeah, that's a good point. Unless he was...
He must have been far enough away.
Yeah.
Far enough away.
Because he said he saw him. He was just far enough away to hide or something like that, which is very un-Sangheili, but...
Yeah, when there's a bunch of brutes murdering the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
And who knows who this guy is? He could be like a Singhili scientist, a technician. He might not even
That's
be
true.
a warrior.
Yeah, that's true. So.
That's a good point. That's interesting. So he was a Covenant, and then he's reformed, or whatever you want to say, and then he's being
Defected.
interviewed by the humans.
Yeah.
He could even just be a sort of thing, Helios, an arbiter's man now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's probably
that's what
more
I'm
likely.
thinking.
And this could be like a pleasant exchange of information between, information services. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? Only
it sounds like the Sangheili, it sounds like the Sangheili wouldn't answer more questions until he figured out exactly what Oni wanted to do with Atriox, though. It
Yeah,
sounds like
or
the Sangheili's gotten the impression that we were trying to, get Atriox to do something for us, and he's like, I'm not telling you any more information unless you tell me what you guys are up to.
Yeah.
And they
Very
decided
cool.
not to tell them what they were up to, so they got no more information.
Right.
And that's
That's
it.
a good one.
That's all
That's a
we
very
got.
good one. Thanks, Krista. All right, let's do
Both
community.
of those are great. to be
Yeah,
fair.
very good ones.
Community?
Yeah.
Colin Perkins, the admin, August 8th, 6:26 p.m. What does Colin got to say for himself? He says, go away, face. Why are you doing this weird thing? I can't see the sentence. God damn it. Some word popped up. Go away. Okay. You're getting ready for work when you spot the asshole that just moved in down the street, walk up to your car and slit the tires. Oh my God, Colin.
You didn't read this already?
How do you retaliate? Question for mission debrief, Hell Wars 2, Under the Dark Mission. Like, where does that come from? What kind of dark place in your mind?
Well, I was trying to frame up, Atriox and all that sort of stuff. I was trying to think, how should we form this question? And it's almost like putting yourself in the shoes of Atriox. Like, he's pissed now, right?
Okay, I get
so
you.
somebody came and wrecked his ride. What is he going to do now?
Oh, I
Interesting.
see.
All right, okay.
I thought it was the most random shit ever when I initially
Yeah.
read
No.
it. Now it makes sense. All
I
right,
was
the
like,
logic
what are
is
you
there.
doing, Colin?
This is putting us in Atriox's shoes, obviously on a smaller scale, but
All right, okay.
So we're the asshole down the
Alright.
street.
with the UNSC
Richard-
is, yeah.
Yeah. Richard Miller says, make a natural cave formation in his skull. That's really good. Lucas says, I'll set up those useful mines around this house. Maybe they'll be effective. They won't. Which is useless. Yep. Trenton says, me. Krista, permission to leave the house. Oh, this ought to be good. Krista, for what purposes, Trent? Me. Lights paper bag full of dog poop to give the neighbor back their bomb. Well, that's real good. Well done, Trent. You get a ha-ha. Good job, Trent.
You get a ha-ha.
Jake says, how much firepower would you need to blow up his car? Not much. A well-placed grenade, but why? And it has a picture of Chief bouncing the grenade like he's about to blow up the reactor in the end of CE. Excellent picture, Jake. Richard says again, in my eyes, he mysteriously turns orange, and my gravity hammer and sword will do it, but they must. Patrick says, first pray to the almighty Beard King in strength in
Yeah.
battle when they proceed to take my tire iron repeatedly and smash and destroy his hopes and dreams, aka his car. Your wish is granted, Patrick.
I
Go,
forgot.
my son. Go. Ryan says, record the next time they do it and go to the cops. If that doesn't work, gravity hammer his car 3 blocks down. Good response, Ryan. You're the most reasonable of people. You get it, like. There you go. That's what we got.
All right, very nice. Thank you, Facebook. How about Discord? How do we do?
All right, so Blue Calx says a quick hit to the back of the head with the butt of my MA5C, and then one of these, and then it's a gif of teabagging. Third says carefully timed application of a plasma grenade so he can witness his car exploding right as he walks out his front door. Very
That's
nice. Jedi Spartan says, whew, build a time machine from one of the many franchise/games I like and set the date to 97,445 BCE with him in it. Kick him out onto a flood-free planet, give him a massive speech about time travel, and leave him to either get infected by the flood, get wiped out by the Halo Ray, or just die of old age. Massive overkill, though. Alternatively, just find a huge ledge and jump off it to get him. If they came to hear me beg, achievement from Halo Reach, and that's the one where you jump off the cliff and then assassinate the
Oh.
Sangheili.
From Reach, yeah.
Claptrap says, Step 1, legally purchase an M1 Sherman. Step 2, fill the cannon with a blank. Step 3, when he comes out of his house, tilt the turret to 2 reds, and it'll scare him. Step 4, drive over his car and tell him to try slashing these tires.
That's good.
Prophet of Rhyme says, set up some Legos outside his house.
Ooh, dastardly. I like that.
Chicken Tendy says, take him for a ride in a Prowler, saying I'm going to take him to Mars, and say he will be the first man to set foot on it. Then take him and abandon him on a Dosaic, or just an orbital Mac blast.
Does it mean Dosec?
Yeah,
Dosec, that's
The
the Brute Planet, yeah.
Brute Homeworld.
Hector says, well, how else? One pump him. That bitch gonna get click-clacked. Oh my god. I don't want to be your neighbor. Wolf says, surplex him into a bear trap.
Ooh, ouch.
Thombaum says, since I don't live in America, I don't own a firearm. But I would knock him out and subject him to torture until he dies and feed him to crocodiles. Outside
Yikes.
on the street.
That's not nice.
No. Tezuto said, I'd buy the dude a beer, cause now I got the day off. Plus, it's probably warranted, as I've clearly slept with his wife. Thank you, Tezuto. Alright, and that's all we got.
Very nice. Thank you all for participating, as always. My crazy, weird question. I'm surprised I had to explain to you guys. Come on.
We didn't get it.
Didn't get it.
I'm not too sure about this one, Colin.
All
Not too
right.
sure.
All right, that'll do it for our debriefing of the Under the Dark mission from Halo Wars 2. On the next episode, we'll be covering The Foundry. Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. You can also support the show by visiting Podcast Evolved on Patreon. And don't forget that free audiobook trial. Visit audibletrial.com/podcastevolved. Until next time, evolve.
Evolved.
Evolve.